perseverance. You could have easily stopped. You could have easily forgot about that property. You could have easily gotten distracted, but you knew that there was something there. And I think everybody listening and or watching this has seen that property that we pass time and time and time again. We just say, if I could just talk to the property owner, I know that something special can happen. And you made it happen. And I think that that's so powerful because it's real life, and you can go out there and you can find other ways to get in contact with the actual owners and just persevere. Welcome to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. I am your host, Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People, and we've got a great episode for you today. From Hickory, North Carolina, I want to introduce to the Rhino Tribe, Steve Zong. Steve, how are you?
I'm good, Brent. How are you?
I am excited. I'm excited because you just closed a $20,000 wholesale deal. That's your 8th deal. You've got another one closing in about a week. That's going to be $29,000. Right. And I really want to dig in and find out how you found those deals and really give everybody listening some encouragement and also really the guide to be able to find these deals themselves. So let's first break down this $20,000 deal. How did you find this deal?
So like I said before, I most of my deals I've done is just driving for dollars. This one's just driving for dollars too. So, what is it? It's just probably 5 minutes away from where I'm living now, and I drove by there a lot of times because I drive by there every day anyway. So, found it. It's been vacant for quite some time now. Found out that it was, in a trust, and the actual owner, the oldest brother, he passed away just not too long ago. So I got a hold of the daughter. Well, at first I called, a month. I got this property a year ago, but I couldn't get a hold of nobody until June, July, roughly around there. And then finally got a hold of somebody and, talked to them. They were interested in selling. It was a big property. It was 2,300 to 2,400 square foot. Needed a lot of work. It had a full basement too. A lot of, it's a money pit house. There you go. I'll say that. Needed a lot of work. Finally got a hold of the owner, talked to them, we negotiated a little bit.
How'd you do that, Steve? Because, that's one of the toughest parts, right? Mm-hmm. And it's one of the most frustrating parts, I think, of our business is we see this vacant house, you drive by it, this is a perfect potential property, but you try every single phone number, no answer. You knock on the door, nobody's there, it's vacant, obviously. Mm-hmm. You try to, find the mailing address and reach out to them with a letter or by going to that property, knocking on the door, but nothing's working. How did you finally, after like a year of like this property being in your mind, how did you find somebody to have a contact with?
Yeah, so between that time frame, I was like, I have to get this deal. I know this is going to be a deal, a home run deal no matter what. So at first we called just the owner's name, the owners that's under the property, and then it didn't work. So we were like, you know what? Let's try calling like the relatives.
Sure.
The daughters and all that. And all I use is True People. That's all I use. True People search, and it's free, so that's good. And it even shows you the relatives. So we call the relatives and finally got a hold of. We called about 5 relatives and got a hold of one number, and it was the daughter. And the daughter, like I said, the daughter was she knew about the property, but she wasn't under the property's name because I guess it was a trust, so the property fell under the next brother, the younger brother. Yeah, so she gave me her uncle's number, called him, talked to him. Really, it's simple. He was a simple guy. He didn't really make it hard or difficult at all. Discussed for probably 10 minutes. He was like, yeah, we're interested in selling, and we talked for price for literally maybe 5 minutes, and he was okay. Yeah, I'm ready to sell. That's it.
Now, was there anything special that you did, Steve? Did you have special things that you said to the daughter to be able to get the phone number, or did you just simply ask for the phone number and she gave it to you?
No, I simply just asked. I was just like, hey, I'm wondering about the property at this address, and would you happen to know anything about him? She was like, oh, that's just my uncle. They own it now, but I can give you my number, his number to talk about it, and that's it.
Isn't that
That's it.
incredible?
Yeah, yeah. That was a simple. This one was probably the simplest deal that I've ever done.
Sure.
But yeah, finally got it. Did you want me to go talking about the numbers and all that too? Go ahead and talk about that too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
this
So.
property needs a lot of work. It's vacant. It's got a
Mhm.
basement. I mean, are we talking it needs $100,000 worth of
Oh
work?
yeah. Yeah.
$50,000? You break that down.
Yeah. So it needed a lot of work. I got it under contract for. So I thought my numbers were a little bit off, but then for me, I thought the ARV was able to push the 400s because of the area it's in, but I was off by maybe 40, 50,000, because I'm just pushing it a little bit high just to see if any other buyers would bite it. But I had 4 buyers came out, and the price that I got under contract for with me and the seller was 120,000, and they didn't even negotiate anything. I just gave them an offer of 120,000. They were like, okay. So I was like, okay, man. I thought this was gonna be like a $50,000, $60,000 deal, but then turns out the property was way too big for because most cash buyers they like to buy the 3.2, 3.1, and this one was just way too big for most of them. So
Yeah.
they came in and offered me 100,000, 90,000, 80,000. But I was like, I know there's got to be somebody out there that's gonna buy it at my price. So I got it for 120. I was shooting it out for 170, 180 at first, and then my buyers came out. They were like, that's too high. It's just too much work too, and it's a big house, so they didn't want to, take on the project. So after 2 weeks, I found another buyer, which she's a real estate she's an agent, but she's an investor. She has buyers too. So we pretty much, it wasn't like a JV. I assigned it to her, but she assigned it to another buyer. So she made a little fee, which I was totally fine with that, And I told her at first, she didn't tell me. I didn't know about it until 2 days later, 2 days before closing. But I told her, hey, it don't matter. I don't really care as much how much you make, as long as we can build this relationship together, connect and all that. So I told her that. She was like, yeah, that's fine. But whenever I couldn't close a property for 160, I was assigning for 160 to my buyers. They didn't want it, so I went back and negotiated with the seller to drop the price to 110. And they were like, yeah, that's fine. Simple and easy. They just said yes, that's okay, 110. And then I assigned it to the agent that came in and bought it, or helped me out sell it, for 130. And
So you got it for 110. You assigned it for 130. You netted how much?
20,000.
Come on.
Yes, sir. 20,000.
I love it. Well, first of all, I mean, there's a lot to unpack here. Number one is this. Whenever you're looking at a property and it needs a lot of work, you have to multiply the square footage by about $40. That's typically the amount that it'll cost per square foot. So when you have 1,000 square foot house that's destroyed, 40 grand's a nice budget. But when it's 2,400 square feet, that's when you start getting into these budgets of 100,000. And the bigger the rehab budget is, the more cash an investor has to have to be able to support that budget. So that shrinks down the buyer pool, is what Steve's really explaining here. And when you shrink down that buyer pool, less buyers means you have less control over the negotiating, because there's typically only one or two that is willing to take on that big of risk. Especially especially this year, as the market's shifting and really, it's becoming more of a buyer's market out there. You really have to play ball with the buyers, because they're in control again, which is fantastic. So you went out and you were able to get them down a little bit more. at 110, sell it for 130, make 20,000 on it, and they went in and they're going to rehab that and make something special. I mean, it's a win-win all the way around.
Yeah.
The agent got paid, which is great. Do not be afraid of real estate agents. I'm telling you, 80 to 90% of the deals that we sell here in Phoenix go through an agent that gets it to their clients. So real estate agents are critical to have on your team and to build really strong relationships with. So listen to Steve and his story, and listen to me and my story, because I'm telling you, real estate agents are a huge, huge, huge benefit to your business. And I think the biggest thing, Steve, that I'm really pulling out of this is your perseverance. You could have easily stopped. You could have easily forgot about that property. You could have easily gotten distracted, but you knew that there was something there. And I think everybody listening and or watching this has seen that property that we pass time and time and time again. We just say, if I could just talk to the property owner, I know that something special can happen. And you made it happen. And I think that that's so powerful, because it's real life, and you can go out there and you can find other ways to get in contact with the actual owners and just persevere, because the fact is the deal of a lifetime comes around about once a week. That's an old school Dolph the Roos comment there, and I absolutely believe it. But you have to keep grinding. You have to keep charging forward like a rhinoceros and getting in touch with that property owner. And I love this because, Steve, it's not like you're doing this, you have all day, every day to do this. You also run a restaurant. I mean, you're doing this business and you're doing these 8 deals, and you were full-time for a little bit, and then you went to go help out your family with the restaurant, and that's fantastic. But I mean, talk to me about the balance that you have between, working at the restaurant, which is, I mean, that is a very, 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 structured and very intense amount of time that you have to put into that, and you still are committed to your real estate business. So for everybody out there that's kind of working both sides of doing a full-time job and working this part-time, how do you balance it?
Yeah, so I work probably 45 hours a week and 5 days a week. We open Tuesday through Saturday, so the only time I really have to do anything is Sunday and Monday. And Sundays, I usually try to do some, but I don't do it as much. But then Monday are the days I go, I do at least 3 to 4, maybe 4 or 5 hours a day. Try to get as much as I can done, because like I said, I only have 2 days to do something. I work pretty much 11 in the morning until 8:30 at night, so pretty much the whole day I can't really do anything much. I do have a 2-hour break from 3 to 5, but that 2-hour break, I usually come home and eat with my girlfriend and all that. So by the time I get done eating and all that, I only have maybe 30 minutes left, or like 45 minutes left to do, a little bit of work. I try to do at least 1 or 2 calls during that break. But, if I can't, I was like, it's okay. I'll just, work harder on Sunday and Monday. But yeah, that's pretty much my time, my schedule throughout the whole week. 45 hours a week.
Don't you want rest, Steve? Don't you want the days off where you could just kick your feet up and just relax? I mean, why not just do that? Why even put more onto your plate while you have a full-time job?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I want to rest. Every day I'm just like, I don't know if I could do this anymore. But then, at the end of the day, I'm just like, I have to do this because, my background, my family is just, I have a big family, but then my parents, my dad was the only one that worked and provided for us. So I want to be able to provide for them back too, for my whole family especially, and I can't stop here, can't rest here, like I've seen a quote, you can rest when you're dead. so I can't rest yet. I'm still young. I got a long life left, so gotta hustle, grind, and keep it going, keep the momentum going, and all that. So
what do you do for mindset, Steve? I mean, how do you keep a positive, optimistic mindset? As you're going in, you have Sunday and Monday to work on this business, and you're working all day in this business, following up with your leads, going on appointments, selling your deals, all of that. Do you do something specific for your mindset that really, helps to keep you really moving forward and keep building the momentum in your business?
Yeah, I try to read sometimes, but I sometimes just get off track from reading. But if not, whenever I'm feeling like lazy or something, or like I don't feel like doing anything, I listen to, you know, your YouTube channel, your podcast and all that, and mainly podcasts and you know, inspirational stuff. You know, especially from you, you have such like a that energy from you. You know, whenever I listen to you, it always gets, the energy just rubs off of me too. You know, it just pushes me more to want to do better and be better. And I just you know, mainly your podcast, YouTube channels, and all that. Whenever I'm feeling, like I said, I can't, you know, just don't feel like doing anything. You know, I just pop on YouTube, listen to your podcast, listen to you talk, and all that. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, it's the most exciting business. I mean, look
Yeah.
at what we just broke down in the front part of this conversation and this podcast. You went to truepeoplesearch.com, which is a free website. You went and put in the address. You found all the phone numbers. You called through all of them. No answer, disconnected. Nobody's talking to you. Wrong number. And then you find the one. You pull on the one thread there, that one conversation with the daughter, and you're able to find out that the oldest brother owns it, and you're able to get this deal for $20,000. And this is you sitting at your house with your phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
This didn't
Yeah.
cost you anything, by the way. Driving for dollars is free. Anybody could
Yeah.
go out there and drive for dollars. True People Search is a free resource. Now, it's not going to be the most accurate. You know, there's other resources that you can use to get more accurate phone numbers. But if you're just getting started and you're just trying to find, you know, the relatives of the property owner, it's a great resource. And then you just called up, and all of a sudden you have a $20,000 profit. Not only that, but you have the experience of speaking with several different buyers, understanding what they're buying, understanding what their budgets are for rehab. I mean, all of this because you're being proactive and you're just picking up the phone. You're not being scared to dial a few numbers and talk to strangers. And I think
Right.
that's so wildly exciting. I mean, through the air, out of the ether, we can pull out $10,000, $15,000, $50,000 opportunities. You're closing another one for $26,000 next week. I mean, it's absolutely incredible what we can do by just taking action and just doing that imperfect action. You know what I mean? Massive imperfect action all the times that we have. And maybe we have other responsibilities. Maybe we have a congested schedule that we can't do this full time right now. But the times that we can, having the energy to be able to do that, it will work. It works every time. It's just the amount of calls you make and the amount of conversations that you have, right?
Yep, that's right. I mean, honestly, I think every week I don't even do that much phone calling. Maybe I probably call about 30, maybe to 50 numbers or people. But then, you know, each person, I don't just stop from just calling their numbers. I call the relatives and the relatives number. So it adds up, you know, it takes up time too. And especially I'm dialing by hand still. So it's definitely a lot of time, but you know, you got to put in the work. Just have to put in the work.
So many people won't even make one call, let alone 30 to 50 calls every single week, brother. You're so powerful. It's incredible to have you on here and having this conversation because it gives people like, listen, you don't have to know everything about real estate.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is pick up the phone and start taking action, and you could start really building up a pipeline of opportunities that you never would have had before if you just stay in your shell and don't have the courage to go out and take action. And you've done it, and I applaud you for it, and I think that it's incredible. How did you find out about this? How did you find out about real estate investing, wholesaling? Like, what's the background there?
So wholesaling, I found out from my brother. He was wholesaling back in 2019. I started wholesaling in 2019 already, but it was early 2019, and he was showing these big checks, 20, 40,000. You know, because he's based out in California, so you know, he was showing those checks on Facebook, you know, Instagram. I'm just like, man, I gotta know what he's doing. So I messaged him, and he was like, yeah, I'm in real estate. You know, I was like, what are you doing? You know, are you an agent or something? He's like, no, it's called wholesaling. It's wholesaling, you know. And then I was just like, wholesaling, huh? You know, I don't know if that's legit or not, but then I was just I brushed it off. You know, 2 weeks later, he showed a $40,000 check. So I'm just like, man, I got to get in on this. So I talked to him, messaged him, talked to him for, you know, he gave me all the information for about a week. He told me to go watch Maxwell, King Kong, watch them for about, I'd say maybe a month, and finally took action. Went out, probably, I closed my first deal within 3 months, $5,000 deal, but it showed me that it's proof, it's real, and pretty much I started from my brother. But not just that, my dad, he was back in like 2010, 2008, he was a buy and hold. He had about 6-7 properties, but then he never really stuck with them because I think it was just himself taking care of all those properties.
Sure.
So it was just too tough for him. But then, yeah, my dad, he was in it, real estate, but he got out of it. And now, pretty much got in with my brother from wholesaling. And then, here I am, wholesaling.
Here you are. I mean, absolutely incredible. And what do you see the next year in your business? Do you see yourself getting to the point where you're going to go into this full time and really be able to have a normal schedule in it? Like, what's the plan over the next 6 months for you?
Yeah, definitely full time. I think I'm already planning ahead. By the end of this year, I want to go full time, at least full time. And my goal for this year, just for this year, is to break 100,000. so I'm halfway there already. So hopefully we can do that. But then in the next year to 6 months, definitely full time. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see what happens. I'm thinking about maybe getting one cold caller, but we'll see what happens in the next 6-7 months. So I don't have to do it myself. But yeah, well, definitely.
I can't imagine you going full time with a phone dialer and thousands of leads going 3 hours a day. Your business is gonna explode.
Yeah. I mean, not just that, but my growth. The reason why I think I got all these deals done is mainly because of my girlfriend. She's home and I'm at work. While she's home, she helps me a lot. She's the one who goes in and look for the phone numbers, like all the relatives' phone number, and I'll just come in and just do the calling. But she was just probably the one who's like, hey, I'm gonna do all this. You just call the phone numbers. That's it. But yeah, the only reason why I probably got these 2 deals is probably because of her. She went and dug up. Yeah, she dug up all what she can through the family tree and the relatives and all that, the phone numbers. So, but yeah.
Well, speak to people that are just getting started in this. What do you think their first real action steps should be as they're going out there? This is like a scary thing, right? You're starting and you understand, okay, if I find some ugly houses, then there's some potential there. Give them some action steps to go out and take that they can implement right now after listening to this.
I would say just listen to this and then start to take action. I mean, you can definitely take a 1 or 2 weeks just to learn the process or understand it a little bit, but you won't ever really know how to do it unless you really go out and do it yourself. Just watching YouTube, of course you can take all that information in, but if you don't take action, you're definitely not gonna get anything done at all. So definitely just go out and just call people, talk to people, especially do whatever you can. Talk to people. Pretty much just go out and take action. I noticed that analysis paralysis. A lot of people have that. I was like that for a bit too, but then you got to get out of that comfort zone. Just get out there and talk to people. Call people. Do whatever you can. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Love it. Steve, how can people get a hold of you? How can they connect with you? Maybe they're in North Carolina, or maybe they just want to say congratulations and give you some love. How can people reach out to you?
I don't really get on social media as much, but I do have an Instagram. My Instagram is Steve_FTW. So yeah, that's my Instagram, and then you can probably reach me there because I'm barely on social media. I don't get on as much. I just get on just to talk to friends, but that's about it.
I love it. Send them a DM, everybody. Everybody yes. Watching, send them some love, and we'll have that in the show notes. So, Steve, I am excited that you are closing another deal next week, and you're really building momentum in your business, and I'm excited for you to go full time in it. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Thank you so much, Brent. I remember texting you about, I think whenever I first joined the TTP program, that I'm gonna get on your podcast, and here I am 6 months
Here
later.
you are.
Here I am. so yeah, it's everything is true. It's proofs. Just just go out and take action. But yeah, thank you so much, Brent. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being on here. And you know what? You remind me of a quote, Steve, that I think it's Jim Rohn that has said, it's not what you get out of a podcast or a book or a YouTube video. It's what it gets out of you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think that that's really the message of this podcast is go out there and just take some action. You know what I mean? Don't just listen to the education's fantastic, but education can be a slippery slope into distraction. Mm-hmm. Between doubt, disappointment, and distraction, the 3 Ds that really plague our business, education could be one of those. So like Steve was saying, go in, get comfortable, spend a week to understand what the process is, and then go out there and take the action. That's the most important part of it. What is this podcast going to get out of you? I absolutely love it. And if you're interested in joining the most proactive community in real estate investing, it is the Rhino Tribe. Go to wholesalinginc.com, wholesalinginc.com. Check out what it's all about. Check out all the testimonials. Check out what the mentorship is, what is all involved in that. And if it feels good in your gut, sign up for a call, and I look forward to working with you personally. And that's it. As always, I sign off on these podcasts, encouraging you to go out there and talk to people. Till next time, love you guys. See ya.